Emily's voice hit me before the words did. You're living off us, Dad! Do you even realize that? It wasn't a conversation. It wasn't even an argument. It was a slap delivered in the middle of my own kitchen. My kitchen, the one I remodeled with my own hands back when she was still learning to ride a bike in the driveway. She stood there barefoot in leggings, coffee in one hand, my grocery receipt in the other like it was a piece of incriminating evidence. Tyler leaned against the counter chewing cereal straight from the box, watching the scene like it was morning entertainment. I bought these things for all of us, I said quietly. You added them to the list. Yeah, she snapped, waving the receipt at me. But you don't think ahead. You just spend. And then I have to cover things because you don't know how to budget anymore. Cover things? What things? My own house payment? My own utilities? She didn't pay a single one of those bills. I opened the banking app on my phone just to feel the solidness of the numbers under my thumb. But I didn't show her. I shouldn't have had to. Emily, I pay for. She cut me off with a sharp laugh. Dad, please. You act like you're doing us a favor letting us stay here, but you never manage on your own. Tyler and I carry you more than you think. Tyler didn't even look up. It's true, man. No shame in it. No shame. Funny how people say that right before handing you a bucket of it. The refrigerator hummed behind me. The light over the sink flickered the way it always did when the AC kicked on. Ordinary sounds. But suddenly the whole room felt smaller, like I was shrinking into it. Emily tossed the receipt onto the counter. And don't buy brand name stuff. We're not made of money. You need to start being mindful instead of acting like this house is your personal retirement lodge. My house. She said it like it was hers to manage. Hers to judge. I looked at them, my daughter and the man who'd somehow become her voice. Tyler scrolling through his phone, Emily with her arms crossed like I was a disobedient teenager. Something warm pressed against my ribs. Embarrassment or anger, I couldn't tell. Both, probably. I opened the cabinet to put the sugar away, but my hand hesitated, shaking slightly. I set it down instead. All right, I said because I didn't know what else to say without breaking something inside myself. Emily rolled her eyes. You always say that. You never listen. And maybe she was right about one thing. I hadn't been listening, not really. Not to the tone. Not to the small digs. Not to the way Tyler had slowly stopped asking and started expecting. Not to the way my own daughter now looked at me like I was a bill she'd forgotten to cancel. She walked out of the kitchen, still muttering. Tyler followed, cereal box under his arm, leaving crumbs behind him on the floor. For a long moment, I just stood there staring at the coffee maker, listening to the steady drip, drip, drip. The kitchen smelled like burnt toast and tension. I didn't plan anything. I didn't vow anything. But something small and quiet, shifted beneath my ribs. A hairline crack. A first fracture. The beginning of a truth I could no longer ignore. And as the house settled into late morning silence, I realized for the first time that maybe Emily wasn't the only one living in a fantasy. I'd been living in one too. Mine had just ended. That realization stayed with me the next morning when I woke up to the sound of Emily knocking on my bedroom door, not gently, but with that impatient rhythm she used when she wanted something. Dad? Did you move the detergent? I can't find it, and I have a meeting in 20 minutes. Her meeting. Somehow everything was always urgent if it belonged to her. I opened the door. It's on the shelf in the laundry room. Same place it's always been. She exhaled sharply as if I'd personally hidden it from her. Well, maybe keep things organized if you want to help around here. Help around here. In my house. Tyler passed behind her in gym shorts and one of my old t-shirts, the one I'd been looking for last week. He didn't acknowledge me. Just walked straight to the fridge, opened it wide, and took the last yogurt. I watched him peel off the lid with his thumb. That was mine, I said carefully. He shrugged. You can grab more later, right? You're not busy during the day. Not busy. I thought of the part-time consulting jobs I still took to keep my mind active, the early morning invoices, the late-night emails. None of that counted in this new version of reality they'd written. Emily reappeared with the detergent. "Dad, we need to talk about groceries. You keep buying stuff we don't eat. And you pick weird brands. It throws off our routine." Our routine. I looked at the items she was pointing to, a loaf of wheat bread, oranges, the tea I liked. She held them like they were inconveniences rather than food she didn't have to lift a finger to purchase. Tyler tossed the empty yogurt cup into the sink instead of the trash. "Also, the Wi-Fi keeps slowing down. Did you change something? I'm trying to watch something, and it keeps buffering." I checked the router later. Nothing was wrong with it. But even if it had been, would it have mattered? In this house, problems were mine, comforts belonged to them. Midday, I stepped outside to take a call from one of the contractors who still used me for small projects. When I came back in, Emily was sitting at the kitchen table with my mail spread out in front of her. "What are you doing?" I asked. She didn't look up. "Just checking what bills are due. We need to stay on top of things." "We?" She finally lifted her eyes. "Well, yeah. If you mess something up, it becomes my problem. So I'm trying to prevent chaos." Chaos. The electricity bill, paid by me. The water bill, paid by me. The property tax statement, paid by me. All of it. Mine. Yet she spoke like she was managing a helpless tenant. That night, I overheard Emily on the phone with a friend. "Yeah, it's exhausting. Tyler and I basically cover everything here. Dad just floats. We're always picking up his slack." Floats. Slack. The words stung harder than they should have. But it wasn't the words alone. It was the ease with which she said them. The comfort. The confidence. As if the lie had settled so deeply into her bones, she no longer remembered it wasn't true. Later, when they both left for a late-night grocery run, using my car, I sat in the silent living room. The house felt colder somehow. Bigger. Or maybe I just felt smaller. I stared at the worn edges of the coffee table I'd built decades ago, at the framed photos of a younger Emily smiling at me with uncomplicated love. I couldn't remember the last time I'd seen that version of her. Something inside me stretched thin, almost to breaking. A quiet, dangerous tension. The sense that I was standing at the very edge of a life I no longer recognized. And for the first time, I understood. This couldn't go on much longer. The breaking point didn't arrive with shouting. It arrived quietly, through a notification on my phone. It was late afternoon, the kind of dull Arizona heat that makes everything feel slower. Emily and Tyler were in the living room, arguing about an online order that hadn't arrived. I was just trying to refill the bird feeder outside when my phone buzzed. Bank alert, new login from Chrome device, Scottsdale, Arizona. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I rarely checked my accounts on anything except my own phone. I stepped inside and saw Tyler sitting on the couch, my laptop open on his knees. My laptop. He didn't even look guilty. He just smirked without lifting his eyes. "Hey, your computer logged me out. What's the password again?" The hint didn't help. I froze. "The hint is my wife's birthday," I said slowly. "You never met her." He shrugged. "Yeah, that's why I asked." "Chill, man. We're just checking recurring bills. Trying to help." Emily chimed in from across the room. "Dad, don't make it weird. Tyler's better with tech stuff. We need to see what you've been paying so we can keep the house stable." What you've been paying. Keep the house stable. I walked over calmly, but inside, something sharp stirred. "What exactly were you doing on my bank page?" Emily lifted her chin, the defensive tilt she'd adopted lately. "You told me last week you were confused about the property tax schedule." "No," I said. "I didn't." She blinked. "Well, that's how I remember it." Tyler stretched his arms over his head. "Relax, man. We're trying to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. You know, before something big gets messed up." "Something big." Like ownership? Like control? My heart kicked harder against my ribs. I checked the browser screen Tyler had minimized. One of my accounts was open, the smaller one, the one I kept for daily purchases. But at the top of the screen, I saw a search bar with a partially typed phrase. How to become authorized user if. He slammed the laptop shut when he saw my eyes catch it. Glitch, he said too fast. Emily stepped between us. Dad, please. You're overreacting. We're trying to plan ahead. You can't manage everything alone forever. We just need transparency. Transparency. Meaning control. A quiet burn rose under my ribs. Not anger, clarity. I walked away before I said anything I'd regret. In my room, I opened my filing drawer and pulled out the red folder Mark had given me years ago, the trust documents, the deed, the accounts Emily didn't know existed. For a long moment, I just stared at them. My breath steadied. A weight that had been pressing down on me for months suddenly shifted. They thought they were tightening a net around me. But they didn't know the net wasn't under my feet. It was under theirs. Back in the hallway, I heard Emily's voice, low and irritated. Tyler, next time just be faster with it, okay? He gets suspicious. The softness inside me, whatever had been left, finally snapped clean. I didn't confront them. Not yet. But I made a decision, firm and silent as steel. No one touches my life again without going through me. And this time, I won't be quiet. I didn't explode. I didn't confront them. I didn't even raise my voice. I simply stopped giving them access to me. The morning after Tyler tried to log into my bank accounts, I woke up with a sensation I hadn't felt in a long time, clarity. Not anger. Not heartbreak. Something colder, sharper. A line drawn inside me that I no longer intended to erase. I brewed coffee in silence. Emily and Tyler argued softly in the living room, debating something about a credit card they'd applied for. As a household, I didn't step in. I didn't ask. I just moved calmly from room to room, collecting the things that belonged to me. Small things first. The spare keys in the bowl by the door. The folder of tax returns on my office shelf. The notebook where I kept old passwords. Nothing dramatic. Nothing noticeable unless you were looking for it. I took the red folder from my bedroom drawer, the deed, the trust documents, the letters from Mark explaining the distribution terms. I reread every page, slower this time, letting the language settle like armor. The legal phrasing no longer felt abstract. It felt like distance. Like safety. After lunch, I sat in my car in the driveway and called Mark. Robert, he said, you sound different. I am, I replied. I need updated copies of everything. Digitally and printed. He didn't ask why. Mark was a man who recognized the tone of someone who'd stopped wavering. I'll have them ready by tomorrow morning. Back inside, I opened my laptop, reclaimed from Tyler's reach, and changed every password. Email. Banking. Cloud storage. Even the router. I didn't announce it. I simply reset what had always been mine. By evening, the house felt strangely hollow. Not quieter, just heavier, like the walls were waiting for something. Emily knocked on my door around 7. Dad? Dinner's ready. Tyler made pasta. Are you eating? I kept my voice neutral. I already ate. A pause. You're acting weird. Not concerned. Not apologetic. Just irritated the way someone gets when their routine changes without their permission. I'm fine, I said. And I was, just not in the way she meant. Over the next 2 days, I slipped into a steady rhythm. Scanning documents. Backing up files. Printing extra copies. Labeling envelopes. Moving a portion of funds into the trust account Mark helped me set up years ago, the one Emily didn't know existed. Every action was small. Every action was deliberate. Every action put another inch of space between us. At night, I scrolled through old photos, Emily at 6 holding a paintbrush, Emily at 10 helping me build a birdhouse, Emily at 14 with her first school award. I didn't cry. I didn't ache. I just felt a deep, quiet recognition. The girl I raised was gone. The woman downstairs was someone else entirely. On the fourth evening, I walked through the house slowly, noting what was about to change. The kitchen, still cluttered with their takeout containers. The living room couch Tyler had worn down with his constant lounging. The hallway where Emily had taped a chore chart she never followed. Everything looked temporary now. And as I stood in the doorway of my own office, with my documents packed, my accounts secured, and the truth lined up in neat, undeniable order, I felt a calm settle over me. Not peace. Not forgiveness. Just readiness. Tomorrow, the silence would end. And they had no idea what was coming. I didn't call them into the kitchen. I just sat at the table and waited. The house was still, too still, until Emily and Tyler finally drifted in, mid-conversation, laughing about something on his phone. They stopped when they saw the folder in front of me. "What's that?" Emily asked, her voice already tense. "Sit," I said. She opened her mouth to argue, but something in my tone must have reached her. They both sat across from me, Tyler leaning back, arms crossed, Emily stiff and guarded. I slid the first document across the table. The deed. Emily frowned. "What is this supposed to?" "It's the house," I said. "My name. Only my name. No co-owner. No transfer. No dependency." She blinked rapidly, confusion tripping into disbelief. "Dad, there has to be more than." "There isn't." Tyler leaned forward. "Look, paperwork can be." "Don't," I said. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't have to. I placed the next set of documents down. Trust details. Financial summaries. Property tax receipts. Bank statements. All organized, dated, irrefutable. Emily skimmed one page, her face straining as she realized what she was seeing. "You told me you were struggling," she whispered. "No," I corrected. "You assumed." Tyler flicked the papers with 2 fingers. "So what? You're saying we've been, wrong?" "Yes." "And what now?" Emily asked, eyes sharp, voice brittle. "What are you doing?" I slid the final envelope across the table. The one I'd printed that morning. 30-day notice to vacate. Emily recoiled like she'd been struck. "You're evicting us? Your own daughter?" "Yes." "You can't do that." "I already did." Tyler stood, pacing behind her. "This is ridiculous. You're overreacting." I looked at him evenly. "Get your things in order. Both of you." Emily's voice cracked. "Dad, please. We were trying to help." "No," I said. "You were trying to manage me. That ends now." The silence that followed was thick, jagged. Tyler muttered something under his breath and stormed down the hall. Emily stayed seated, eyes fixed on the documents like they were written in a language she no longer understood. "I thought you needed us," she said quietly. "I needed peace," I replied. "Not control." Her shoulders sagged. Not in understanding, just in shock. She stood slowly, gathered the papers with trembling hands, and walked out of the kitchen without looking back. The door to the guest rooms slammed a moment later. I didn't follow. They left 17 days later. Not a word on the final morning, just hurried footsteps, boxes carried too fast, the sound of a car trunk slamming shut. When the house finally went silent, the air felt different. Wider. That afternoon, I brewed coffee, opened the windows, and let the quiet settle. I reorganized the kitchen at my own pace, put my things back where they belonged, deleted old shared passwords, watered the plants, and swept the floor. Normal things. Simple things. Freedom, it turned out, was built on small rituals. I ended the day sitting on the porch, the sunset pooling gold over the street, the house finally mine again, not by paper, but by presence. Some losses sting. Some losses heal. And some losses are necessary. In the end, I didn't get my daughter back. I got myself back. And that was enough.